This is in response to Dr. Paul Krugman's article in the New York Times on Monday, July 13th, 2015, The Laziness Dogma. Now, again, I applaud Dr. Krugman for bringing these very important things out in reference to a statement by Jeb Bush a little bit earlier indicating that people needed to work their way out of the recession. They needed to work more. Now, in fairness to Jeb, he was sort of indicating that possibly it is people who have part-time jobs who need to work their way out by getting full-time jobs. But his remedy for people to get full-time jobs is basically the same thing, which is trickle-down economics, and that is to hurt the people who are at the bottom and to give tax relief to those that are at the top. And one of the things that America is leading the world in, or leading the industrialized nations in, is the number of hours worked per American per year. So the average American works approximately 30% more per year than the average German, and somewhat less than that for the total combined of all of the other 30 top industrial nations combined. So if the Germans work approximately 1,500 hours a year, then Americans work approximately, 1,900 hours per year. And that is because Americans get very, very little paid leave. And the other thing is that not only do they not get paid leave, but Americans are extremely productive. In the last 35 years, the productivity rate of Americans has gone up very, very well. But the pay scale that has gone up has been absolutely minuscule. So Americans are working harder, they're working longer, they're being more productive, but they're making less money because the wage rate has not gone up at the same rate as the productivity rate. And Dr. Krugman indicates this is quite a work-life balance that Americans now need to work out. As an example, in my firm, when my company contract rolled over to the new firm, I'm just going into generalities here, they started us out with 15 paid days. After we had been on the job for 4 months, they took that away and went down to 10. And that 10 days was for sick and vacation days. So if you got sick for a couple days, that means you could only get a week's vacation. You know, so they really, really screwed us. And, you know, I work for supposedly pretty good company that talks about how competitive they are in the marketplace with other companies. Of course, everyone could say I could just leave, but it's not quite so easy for a 60-some-year-old man to get up and leave and find another job that's compatible. Sometimes, and I've been unemployed once or twice, and in the last 4 years I was unemployed, and believe me, it is not easy to get another job. But the point is that there's also a lot of job insecurity for Americans that forces them not forces them, but makes it very difficult not to be able to get another job as easily, and therefore having to take some of the licks from management, let's just say. Now, one of the reasons why Jeb Bush made that statement is because that's part of the Republican narrative. That's part of their narrative, is that a lot of Americans, both white and black, are choosing not to work because of the great benefits they get from the Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, etc. Now remember, those policies are in place and they're used mostly for those, meaning the vast majority, there's very little waste, fraud, and abuse in those programs, and that it is there for those that are truly needy. But in the Republican terms, their concept of it is that these people are not suffering, they're on the dole, and it is our job to make them suffer more, and the best way that they can get out of that suffering is to have a job and to work. And one of the things that Dr. Krugman points out in this is that Jeb is an admirer of someone by the name of Charles Murray, a social conservative who's written a number of books. One of the books, the main theme of the book, that was written in 1994, is that blacks are genetically inferior to whites. Oh my God, do we have to go through this again? And in another one of his books, he indicated that there has been a decline in the traditional family structure that's been going on for the last 50 years, and that has been basically coincided with an increase in government payments to people. So the premise is basically when other government services became available to people, that a lot of Americans took advantage of that and are using that not to work and to be idle. So this is the premise. And this is one of the many, many things that, of course, Jeb Bush said that this is a book that, and a man that he admired. And to say that he's not taking some of the concept that he's using and putting it out there, because the basic premise of our Republican friends is to cut taxes for the wealthy and to make people, excuse me, and to cut benefits for those that desperately need those benefits. And at the same time, what is happening today? Oh, that's right. Hillary Clinton is going to be making a major speech today and talking about increasing the minimum wage, talking about having more benefits for the people, talking about actual profit sharing with corporations to make that beneficial for the average working person. But our Republican friends are back there still in the same, as we would say, the old playbook that tax cuts for the rich, get more money out there, and allow for the job creators to create more jobs, which basically has never happened.